So section 5.8 has 3 groups of problems. I did the first group of problems in part 1 of the video, the second group of problems in part 2. Third group of problems we're about to do right now. The only reason I separated the second group of problems and the third group of problems is that in the second group of problems, none of the problems had common factors. In the third group of problems, they all have common factors. But my goal is still going to be the same. I need to get 0 on one side of the equation, and that's already done. I need to get the opposite side factored. That's not already done, and then I'm going to solve. In this grouping of problems, I need to remember that common factors with an x give a solution of 0, and common factors that are constants, which means numbers without letters, give no solution. And usually, I expect as many solutions as the highest exponent. I can't get more, but I can get less. So I usually expect my number of solutions to be the same as the highest exponent. So in problem 44, the highest exponent is 3. I hope to get 3 solutions. The right side is 0, the left side needs to be factored, and I'm going to factor the left-hand side by pulling out the common factor of 2x. So I'm going to factor out my 2x, leave a parentheses equal to 0, and then I'll do 10 divided by 2 is 5. First term had 3 x's, I took 1 away, I'm left with 2 x's. Not changing signs because I didn't factor out a negative. Next term, 18 divided by 2 is 9, I took an x away. Last term, 8 divided by 2 is 4, I took an x away. First step is starting the factoring, and now off to the side, I'm going to work on factoring 5x squared plus 9x plus 4. I'm going to multiply the 5 and the 4 and get 20, and get 20. I need the double positive factors of 20. 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. And then I'm going to add 1 and 20. I'm going to add 2 and 10. I'm going to add 4 and 5. 4 and 5 is the pair I need. I'm going to change the 9x into 4x plus 5x. So for this problem, 5x squared plus 9x plus 4, I can make it 5x squared plus 4x plus 5x plus 4. Hopefully this is getting painfully repetitive and you can factor these all day. Introduce my parentheses. First one, I have a common factor of an x. I'll factor out a 5x plus 4. I'll be left with a 5x plus 4. Second one, there's no common factor, so I'll factor out a 1. Be left with another 5x plus 4. And then write my common parentheses, followed by what's in front of the common parentheses. So this is all side work that will help me get my answer, but it's not going to be the numerical answer part. So now back up into inline here. I'm going to make this 2x times 5x plus 4 times x plus 1 equals 0. Now that I have it factored, I go 2x equal to 0, 5x plus 4 equal to 0, x plus 1 equal to 0. For the 2x equal to 0, I divide both sides by 2 and get an answer of 0. For the 5x plus 4 equal to 0, I minus 4 and get 5x equals to minus 4. I divide by 5 and I get x equal negative 4/5. And for the x plus 1 equal to 0, I minus 1 from both sides and get x equal to negative 1. When I write my answer, I usually write one of the variables and separate the individual answers with a comma. And just to save time, I'm going to pull out my sheet for 44. And 44, I get 0, negative 4/5, and negative 1. Feels good. Let us do 45 together, just to knock out one of your problems. And let me write the answers down so I know what I'm shooting for. In 45, I said it's 1 comma negative 3/2. So in 45, I should be x equal to 1 and negative 3/2. Let's see if I could get there with you. First step in 45, pull out my common factor of 2. Multiple things I should comment on. The highest exponent is 2. I can't get more than 2 solutions. That's a big deal. And when I common factor, my common factor doesn't have an x. Common factors with an x give a solution of 0. Common factors that are constants, or numbers without letters, don't give solutions. So this 2 is not going to give a solution, but I'll show you that it doesn't in a bit. Let me factor this 2x squared plus 1x plus minus 3. I multiply the 2 and minus 3 and get minus 6. The numbers that I need are plus and minus, bigger number plus. So 3 and minus 2, 6 and minus 1. I need the pair that adds to 1. 3 plus negative 2 is 1. 6 plus negative 1 is 5. So the pair of numbers that I need are 3 and negative 2. I'm going to rewrite the 1x as negative 2x plus 3x. So in my efforts to factor this, I'm going to write this as 2x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 3, parentheses, parentheses, first parentheses factor out a 2x, second parentheses factor out a 3, write the common parentheses and what's in front of the common parentheses. So all that side work, I'm doing it lightning fast because I'm assuming you know how to do that, and I'm just doing it so I can get it down, but you should be able to do that without me by holding your hand at this point, I hope. So now I have 2 times x minus 1 times 2x plus 3 equals 0. Setting the 2 equal to 0 because it doesn't have an x doesn't give a solution. And I'll show you right now that 2 doesn't check. If I went to the original problem and did 4 times change the x to 2, 2 squared, plus 2 times change the x to 2 minus 6, I would get 14 equal to 0. That's no good. I need 0 equal to 0. Common factors without an x don't give a solution. If I set the x minus 1 equal to 0, I shouldn't show the algebra, but the algebra would be to add 1 to both sides, and I'll get 1, which is, there's that answer. And the 2x plus 3, if I set it equal to 0, I minus 3 from both sides and get 2x is minus 3. And then I divide both sides by 2 and get x equals negative 3/2. So the answer down there at least matches up with my work. I'm assuming I checked it ahead of time so that I have a good answer. (47) and 48 are friendly-ish. In 47, the highest exponent is 2. I expect 2 solutions. In fact, I can't get more than 2 solutions. When I go to factor problem 48, I'm going to pull out the common factor of a 2 because 2 goes into 2 and 2 goes into 18. The common factor is not going to give a solution. I could actually even stop writing it. It wouldn't matter. The x squared minus 9 I'm going to factor. I'm going to make 2 basically identical parentheses. I'm going to divide the exponent of the x by 2 and split it between the firsts. I'm going to square root the 9 and get 3 and split it between the lasts. It's a square with a minus. Then I go to write my answers, or find my answers. The 2 equal to 0 won't give a solution. Setting the x plus 3 equal to 0 will give me an answer of negative 3. Setting the x minus 3 equal to 0 will give me an answer of positive 3. So my answers are opposites, 3 and negative 3. Probably when I go to check my answer, I will have written plus or minus 3 for problem 48. And 48, yeah, I did plus or minus 3. For what it's worth, your 47 is plus or minus 2. Let's do 49 together. 49, I expect 3 solutions. It looks like I'm going to have to factor by grouping, but it's kind because of the common factor. I expect when we have a highest exponent of 3, I expect 3 solutions. As a matter of fact, let me just find what I have for the solutions so we can check. For 49, I wrote x equals 0, 3, and 2. That's what I'm going to shoot for. If I get that, then I'm assuming my algebra is right on the paper and on the screen. So let me start by factoring. Common factor of 3x I'm going to factor out. So first step in any factoring problem is to hunt down any common factors. In this case, there's a common factor of 3x. Divide by 3, take an x away. The first piece is going to turn into an x squared. Second piece, divide by 3, take an x away. I'll be left with a minus 5x. Third piece, divide by 3, take an x away. I'm left with a plus 6. I'm going to sight factor. This is the second row of my template. The minus plus, I need double negative signs. So when I go to factor the x squared minus 5x plus 6, I look at the 6 and I need double negative numbers that multiply out to be 6, which would be negative 1 and negative 6, and negative 2 and negative 3. I'm going to add them. Negative 1 plus negative 6 adds to negative 7. Negative 2 plus negative 3 adds to negative 5. That negative 2 and negative 3 are going to round out my parentheses. So I can fill in the double 2 parentheses here by splitting the x squared evenly between the x's, between the parentheses, and then put a minus 2 in one parentheses, a minus 3 in the other. And now I'm going to solve. Setting the factor of 3x equal to 0 as a common factor with an x. Common factors with an x give a solution of 0. Setting the x minus 2 equal to 0, I get the 2 that I have written in my answer. Setting the factor of x minus 3 equal to 0, I get the 3 that I have written in my answer. The numbers don't need to go in any special order. I've got 0, 2, and 3 written down, but that's no better or worse than 0, 3, and 2. I wrote way too many problems. I could probably cut this in half. It's just too much. I'll do 52, and I expect 2 solutions because the highest exponent is 2. I'm going to start off by factoring out a common factor of a 2. I don't get an x for a common factor because the 90 doesn't have an x. When I factor out a 2, I'm left with an x squared minus 14x plus 45. Just divide all the numbers by 2. And now I should be able to sight factor. I'm going to split the x squared evenly up in the first positions in each parentheses. Then I'm going to look at the 45, and I'm going to find the double negative factors of 45, which would be -1 and -45, -3 and -15, -5 and -9. I don't know if there's more, but I have the one that I need. Now I'll add them. -1 plus -45 is -46. -3 plus -15 is -18. And finally, -5 plus -9 is -14. That's how I'm going to end off my parentheses, with a -5 and a -9. The first common factor doesn't have an x, so it doesn't give a solution. The x minus 5 gives a solution of 5. The x minus 9 gives a solution of 9. Let me check on 52 if I have 5 and 9 written down, and I don't have 5 and 9 written down. Did I make, and I made a mistake. Hopefully you saw my mistake. So sorry. I don't know what kind of paper I have here, but I made a mistake. Nice thing is, let me show you the number that doesn't check. My answers for 52 are supposed to be -9 and 5. The positive 9 shouldn't check. So if I went to check the positive 9, I would have went 2 times 9 squared minus 28 times 9 plus 90, and it's supposed to equal 0. It does equal 0. So the positive 9 checks just fine. And no, I didn't make a mistake. It's right. My answer is wrong. That's the issue. I didn't make a mistake. I thought I was wrong, but I wasn't wrong there. I was wrong here. This is supposed to be x equals 5 and 9. And somehow the equals turned into a minus, so I thought I saw a -9. -9 wouldn't check. Let me show you. If my -9 that I had written down, if I did 2 times -9 squared plus 28 times -9, that doesn't check. 5 and 9 do check. -9 that I thought I had written down here, but I really didn't, but I had a stupid minus instead of an equal sign. I'm right. I didn't make a mistake. That's rare that when I think I was wrong that I wasn't. A couple more problems. There's just way too many problems that I wrote. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize when I was writing them that I got way too carried away. If I stare at 53 and 55, I think I can knock them out together, because look at the problems. They're the same problem essentially. Structurally, they're the same problem. They're going to factor real similarly. So let me leave these both on the screen and do them simultaneously to pop out 2 of your problems. In 53, I'm going to start out factoring out a common factor of a 2 and get 2 times 5x squared plus 9x plus 4 equals 0. I never do 2 problems simultaneously, but I never have 2 problems that are so similar that it would make sense. For 55, I'm going to factor out a 2x and be left with a 5x squared plus 9x plus 4 equals to 0. They're essentially the same problem, so I can solve them back to back. Because both of them, after you pull out the common factor, I need to factor the 5x squared plus 9x plus 4. How am I going to do that? I'm going to multiply the 5 and 4 and get 20. Write down the plus factors of 20, which are 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5, add them. 1 plus 20 equals 21. 2 plus 10 equals to 12. 4 plus 5 equals to 9. So the 4 and 5 I'm going to need. I'm going to rewrite the 9x as 4x plus 5x, which will make this 5x squared plus 4x plus 5x plus 4. Insert my parentheses. First pair I factor out an x, and I'll be left with a 5x plus 4. Second pair I factor out a 1, and I'm left with a 5x plus 4. So I get a 5x plus 4 times x plus 1, factoring in both problems 53 and 55. So the parentheses that I need to split up in 53 is going to turn into 5x plus 4 times x plus 1. The exact same parentheses needs to be split up in problem 55. So it's still going to be 5x plus 4 times x plus 1. In 53, the common factor doesn't have an x, so it doesn't give a solution. The factor of 5x plus 4, when I set it equal to 0, I minus 4 and minus 4, which gives me 5x equals to minus 4. I divide by 5, I divide by 5, and I get x equal negative 4/5. The factor of x plus 1, when I set it equal to 0, I get x equal to negative 1. So for problem 53, the answer should be x equals to negative 4/5 and negative 1. The twin, 55, I should go 2x equals 0, 5x plus 4 equal to 0, x plus 1 equal to 0. The difference is that 2x, when you divide both sides by 2, you get an answer of 0. The 5x plus 4 gives me an answer of negative 4/5. The x plus 1 gives me an answer of negative 1. So on 55, I should get 0, negative 4/5, and negative 1. The difference is the common factor with an x and the common factor without an x. So let me check. 53 is negative 4/5 and negative 1. 55, 0, negative 4/5 and negative 1. So those are perfect answers. One more video and we'll move on to the next part. Again, I'm not doing every single problem like I might like to, just because I wrote a few too many, but it's okay. I'll do 58. In 58, there's a common factor of a 3 that I could factor out. The first term is negative, so I should factor out the opposite of 3, or negative 3. So to get started in 58, I'm going to factor out a negative 3. I'm going to change the signs and divide by 3. The negative 3, it's going to turn to positive when I factor out a negative. I factored out a 3, so I'll divide by 3. And here I'm just going to be left with x squared. The negative sign in front of the 18 is going to go to positive when I factored out the negative. The 18, when I factor out a 3, is going to turn into 6. The positive 21, the positive sign flips to negative when I factor out a negative. 21, I'll divide by 3 and get 7. Now I can sight factor because there's not a number in front of the squared term. To do this, I look at the negative 7, and I need plus minus factors of negative 7, bigger number plus, which is 7 and minus 1. Let me add those and make sure I get positive 6. 7 plus negative 1 is positive 6, so those are the numbers that are going to go in my parentheses, a positive 7 and a negative 1. Now that I have it factored, I set the factors equal to 0. Common factors with an x give a solution of 0. Common factors that don't have a letter don't give a solution. The x plus 7 would give an answer of -7, which I should get by inspection without showing algebra. And the x minus 1 should give an answer of 1. My answer to 58 should be -7 and 1. And I'll just peek at my work, and it matches. So your 57, if you're worried, you should get 57, you should get -1 and 6. And the only other problems that in this grouping that I'm skipping over are 59 and 60. 59 is 0 and 7 and -7. So we're going to head on for a part 4. We already have had 3 25-minute lectures, and there's going to be another at least 25-minute one. It's a long section. The next section is not near as long.